So I was inspired by another content creator who broke down how racism is expensive. And as a Black nurse, I wanted to expand that conversation, especially when it comes to education and professional licensing. So let's start with nursing. Nursing used to be hospital-based training, apprenticeships where you learned on the job, became competent, and then you practice. But as more Black women entered the profession in the early 1900s, states shifted toward requiring formal nursing schools and standardized exams. Eventually, that became the NCLEX. So on the surface, it's about standards. In reality, it created expensive hurdles, tuition, exam fees, and prep costs that disproportionately kept Black nurses and working class students out. Even today, the NCLEX pass rates for white nursing graduates is nearly 88%, while for Black nursing graduates, it's around 66%. The same knowledge, but a system designed to widen gaps. So law works the same way. Before you became a lawyer by clerking, you used to study under an attorney. But when Black and immigrant lawyers started breaking through after Reconstruction, states rolled out the bar exam. By the early 1900s, nearly every state required it, and the effect was immediate. The number of Black lawyers plummeted from over 1,200 practicing after Reconstruction to just a few hundred by 1920. Access suddenly required not just knowledge, but the ability to pay for law school and the required testing. And medicine? The Flexner Report in 1910 shut down almost every Black medical school in the country, leaving only Howard and Meharry. 7 Black medical schools existed before 1910. 5 were closed, wiping out generations of Black physicians. Today, less than 6% of U.S. doctors are Black, a direct legacy of those decisions. From there, licensing exams like the MCAT and state boards became the gatekeepers, ensuring the pipeline of Black doctors stayed small. So these shifts aren't random. They are deliberate. They took affordable paths, clerkships, apprenticeships, hospital-based training, and then replaced them all with standardized exams that were expensive and exclusionary. So when we say racism is expensive, this is what we mean, and this is a great example of it. Every time a Black nursing student has to take out loans for tuition, pay hundreds for exam fees, or retake the NCLEX because of built-in inequities, we are watching history continue to repeat itself. Racism isn't just an ugly idea. It's built into the very systems that decide who gets to be a nurse, a lawyer, or a doctor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Gracie D. I hope you all are doing amazing. I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. So on this episode, I want to talk to white people, white Americans. You all come to the front. What if I told you all that racism didn't just hurt Black Americans? It also robbed you of money, opportunity, and a better life. On this episode, we are going to talk about the benefits that you white Americans lost because of racism. Benefits that you all should have had. You all know that for decades, racism has been used as a weapon to divide you and separate you from working with Black people and people of color in the United States of America. And it has really worked well for the elites, for the corporations, and for politicians in your country. Racism has kept you white Americans from joining forces with other communities. And who exactly have been benefiting from this? As I said, elites, millionaires, billionaires, politicians, and corporations. And in 2025, some of you are now noticing that, oh my goodness, we messed up, like we effed ourselves. Yes, you did. And some of you are still doing it because some of you will actually never learn at all. Hatred and racism is deeply rooted in some of you, that you would rather suffer as long as another community does not, benefit. As long as, another community is suffering, you would suffer along with them instead of you, coming together and benefiting together. So you choose suffering over benefiting with other people just because you don't like them. It's crazy, guys. I have gathered a few clips that I want us to watch together. This episode is not to instigate any hate. is just for education and learning, and I hope that some of you will actually learn something from this. And also on this video, at the end of it, we are going to talk about some of the benefits that you could have had were it not for racism and hatred. And all these benefits are now going to the elites, Americans, the corporations, the politicians, and all the billionaires and millionaires in your country. And some are even going to foreign countries. I want us to watch these videos together. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on this episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you're seeing on your screens. So let's just dive right ahead, and we'll be back with more commentary. Remember, it's for education purposes, and I hope that you learned something from this episode. So let's watch.
I live in rural Arkansas. And if you don't understand why people in rural Arkansas or rural America vote Republican, it's because of fear and jealousy. Jealousy that somebody has it better than they do, that they work their asses off, and most of them do. More education, because the education here is at the bottom of the tier. Maternal mortality, low. Education, low. Quality of living, low. Infrastructure, super low. There's no industry, there's no hope for these young kids in rural Arkansas to have a job. We had a chance to vote Chris Jones, an actual rocket scientist like myself who was educated and had a plan to bring jobs and infrastructure to Arkansas. But the people I talked to in rural Arkansas will not vote for him because of his color of his skin. And they weren't nice when they described the color of his skin. So they voted for a sycophant, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is treating this like her personal money bank. There is no infrastructure here. The roads are shit. You can drive 2 hours. So my closest grocery store, besides Walmart, is 2 hours away. So if I go that 2 hours to go to that grocery store, the roads I have to take are barely have enough room for two people to pass each other. There is no cell phone coverage for over an hour and a half of that ride. And there's no hope to get those roads fixed anytime soon because there's no money. I say that, but lo and behold, what did Sarah do as of July of 2025? She has loaned and bought $55 million worth of Israeli bonds. So she's loaned Israel $55 million with a catch to give them 100 more million by the end of the year. When her people are fucking starving, they have no medical care. Hell, most teenage girls here are living at home pregnant with their moms. And they're living at home with their moms and their boyfriends. Because that's how rural America lives. There's nothing for these kids to look forward to. So why would they ever vote Republican? Because that's what they're told to do. $150 million would go a long way to feed, get medical attention, and up our so that our children here in Arkansas don't die in infancy.
Racism expensive as hell. And a lot of y'all about to find out November 1st when you lose your SNAP benefits. I've been seeing these videos. I'm like, why are people making fun of people not being able to eat them? Is that where we at now? Like, I've been seeing people, what you do with last month's benefits? So we at the human beings mocking other human beings for not being able to feed their families phase. How the fuck did we get here? And then I realized the people making those videos seriously thought that only black and brown people was going to be affected by this. I saw one dude say,
"Hey, LaQuisha, calm down, okay? They're not cutting off the SNAP benefits for November, all right? But be honest, you're still going to go out and steal, aren't you?"
It's crazy because the people who use these benefits the most, Chad, look like you. White people, 37%. It's insane that the system that y'all try to demonize the most, y'all benefit from the most. Because y'all have been fed historic lies, and then y'all continue to tell historic lies. Y'all were told the lie that black people are the laziest, when black people literally built this country, not just with their hands, but with the products that came from their hands. Tobacco, cotton, generational wealth was built off the blood, sweat, and tears and labor of black people, yet we are demonized the most. Generational wealth that black people don't even see to this day. Then you went to immigrants. You said immigrants are nothing more than rapists and they don't contribute anything to society. They contribute billions with a B. That ain't even counting agriculture, construction, all the other things that they do. Then y'all say, well, I just don't want illegals. Illegals shouldn't be having SNAP benefits. They don't even get benefits. So that leaves y'all. 37% of y'all are about to lose y'all benefits November 1st. Again, it's easy to fool racists when the lie is based in racism. Lyndon Johnson said, if you can convince the poorest white man that he is better than the best black man, he will empty out his pockets for you. Example. Because y'all really thought, starting November 1st, that black and brown people was going to be in these streets struggling the most. It's going to be y'all. Because black and brown people, honestly, historically, have been used to struggling because of a lot of y'all. But I don't think y'all are used to the struggle that's coming. And it's unfortunate because it didn't have to be this way. But I will say this, in order for us to fix where we at, y'all got to feel where we at. Y'all have to feel the repercussions of your decision. Because the craziest thing about all this is that the person taking away your SNAP benefits, your ability to feed yourself and your family, not only looks like you, he ain't never even had to use the benefits he about to take from you. Racism expensive as fuck.
Happy Sunday, y'all. America is being reminded once again in real time that racism is and always will be expensive as hell. And there are many different examples of this. Everything from the farms in Arkansas and all over the Midwest, right, whose farms are going bankrupt because they voted for a man who alienated their core customer base, while also at the exact same time leading a crusade against their workforce. These people literally chose racism over making money. And now they're suffering the consequences. All the crops that they planted are going rotten because there's nobody there to pick them. And even if there were, no one's going to buy them. China was the biggest importer of soybeans from the U.S. Ever since all this tariff bullshit touched down, they just went and got it from somewhere else. I think they're getting it from Brazil now or somewhere in South America. And there's more than one example, as we should have all heard by now, right? There is an EV plant that was being built in Georgia somewhere, right? It was a joint venture between LG and Hyundai, right? This was the result of South Korea pledging billions of dollars in investments into the U.S. just so that they can get on Donald Trump's good side and lessen the impact of the tariffs. This is a good thing. However, it's probably going to go up in flames now because several racists down there mass reported the EV plant as harboring illegal immigrants. And every single law enforcement agency in the country basically showed up and detained 475 people. The majority of these people were South Koreans who were here legally, had paperwork and everything. Now, South Korea was able to negotiate these people's release and charter a plane for them back home if they so choose. But now South Korea, LG, and Hyundai, because those are Korean companies, make no mistake about it, have all came out and said that we should expect significant delays in that plant being built or opened in general, which means the jobs that would have came to Georgia as a result of that plant being opened will take significantly longer to get there if they ever show up at all. Now, I could rattle off more examples, countless examples if I had the time, but the point here is this. Racism is expensive. It always has been. It always will be. You don't got to like your neighbor. You don't got to identify with them, but you should be able to treat everybody with respect and dignity and like they're human fucking being. Documentation be damned. Yet the worst part of this country elected a fucking monster who is leading a crusade against anyone who doesn't look like him. And the consequences will be felt by everybody, not just people who look like me, not just immigrants, not just women, not alphabet gang, everybody. And it's irritating as hell because this is a choice that we made as a country. There are people in this country who would rather be king of the ashes rather than be a part of a thriving, diverse community in which everybody is happy and everyone is making money and everybody can afford to live. Reason we don't have, universal health care and affordable housing and free college is simply because of racism. And it's that simple.
Americans in real time are about to figure out how expensive racism actually is, if they have not already, okay? Because we are about to go into unprecedented times. All right, and we about to pay a hefty price. That woman calling ICE on those Koreans lost 9,000 jobs in Atlanta. 9,000 jobs just because she wanted to be racist and bragged about it. All these farmers complaining about losing business, losing money. They're about to lose their family farms. Well, guess what? Take it away. Because when y'all could have voted against this, y'all voted for it. Inflation, taxes, job losses. We have more unemployed people than jobs. We are about to figure out how expensive being racist actually is. Y'all was cool when y'all was benefiting from the program, but y'all think y'all above the program, and I'm here to tell you that you are not. Congratulations.
There are some few examples that we've seen in this year of, how expensive racism and hatred is. And number one of them being white farmers or farmers in the United States of America. Most of these people voted for this new administration that promised that they were going to deport, illegal immigrants. And these farmers, they were making lots of money from their farm, from their ranches, from their animals, from their fruits, from their cattle, anything. But, to them, there is no single day that they sat there and be like, oh my goodness, there is no way I can vote for this new administration because all these people that are actually working in my farm, all these people that are picking my crops, all these people that are milking my cows, all these people that are doing everything that needs to be done for me to make money or put some money in my bank account are illegal immigrants. But they still went on ahead and voted for this administration that promised from day one that they get in office, they're gonna launch one of the largest mass deportation that has ever been in the United States of America. And it happened. And who've been suffering the most? White American farmers. They're really suffering. They don't have people to work in their farms. We've seen some of them, some crops rotting in the farms. Some of the produce that these people have are rotting, and because there are no people to go and pick them, there are no people to go and deliver them to the stores, and people are not gonna come to your farm and shop from there. No, that's not gonna happen, and those crops are not gonna pick themselves. You need people, you need workforce, but you all voted for your workforce to be deported because of hatred and racism. Well, they have to go back and come the right way, and to the white Americans now who are saying, oh, all these illegal immigrants are taking away our jobs, I'm asking myself, why are you not all going to take those jobs? Why are you not going to pick crops? Because so many of you are online, crying on how these illegal immigrants are taking away your jobs. Now you all see what is happening. Eggs, prices, groceries, it's hard for people, to afford to have a nice meal because of hatred and racism, because everything is getting expensive. Of course, when you don't have people to work in the farms, the groceries and eggs, poultry, meat, everything is going to rise. Like everything is going to hike. The prices are going to hike because you all voted for this. Let's come to healthcare. People and this administration really talked on how they've been trying for years, I think it's for a decade, they've been trying to repeal Obamacare. And most of you are very happy that this administration was going to do away with Obamacare because you all want Affordable Care Act. You want nothing to do with Obamacare. And it's crazy. And, hatred can also actually blind you and make you very stupid, because most of you didn't understand when you went on ahead and clapping and voting for this administration to repeal Obamacare. You didn't know it was the same as Affordable Care Act. You are just happy because, you're calling them Obamacare and, the connection that it has with Obama, him being a black man. And most of you are not happy that he's a black man that got to be a president in the United States of America. You all wanted any legacy, anything connected with him destroyed. Come to find out that you're only destroying yourselves. Now people have been crying, they're receiving mails, their health insurance is crazy. Some of them are even saying that they cannot afford it. But you all still went on ahead and voted for this new administration that has been trying for decades to repeal Obamacare. The only one policy that was benefiting you. And talking about universal and affordable healthcare, you all don't have a universal healthcare in the United States of America. You had affordable healthcare, which was ACA, aka Obamacare, that you all didn't want, and you all voted for, this administration to repeal it. The reason as to why you don't have a universal health care is because programs that would have saved millions of white lives were blocked because politicians didn't want black people benefiting. As a result, white women are facing rising maternal mortality. Rural white Americans lost their hospitals, they are suffering. Medical bills are crashing families, because racism made politicians choose to deny health care to everyone rather than share it. You're seeing what's gonna happen to rural Americans when it comes to healthcare after they reclassify, these, nursing degree to non-professional. It has not yet started, and I've been telling people this is the time that it's starting. You all have not seen anything. You all have not experienced anything because it's about to start, and it's gonna be hard. Go through Project 2025. Black Americans try to warn you about this, but most of you chose not to listen because, no way, I'd rather suffer along with Black Americans. I'd rather miss on all these benefits rather than sharing with Black Americans, rather than seeing other communities benefiting. When you also look at public education, it was destroyed by segregation because you white parents fought to keep schools segregated. And what happened after this? Public schools collapsed, funding dropped, college became unaffordable, and now white Americans hold the largest share of student loan in debt in the country. Racism, again, it didn't protect white education, it destroyed it. So yeah, I don't want my kids going to school with black kids. I don't want my kids sharing school bus with black kids. But look at right now, who is suffering? Look at what is happening in rural America. Racism didn't protect white education, it destroyed it. And right now, millions of young white Americans are paying the price today. Let's talk about political power. And when you talk about political power lost, look at how white Americans have been voting. You'll see how you've been voting. You'll see how you voted in November 2024 on 5th. You voted for an administration that right now most of you are regretting. That right now most of you are like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this is what's going to happen. Most of you were about to miss on your SNAP benefits, or most actually missed on their SNAP benefits on November 1st because of what this new administration decided to do. And this is only because you voted for this, you voted for this administration, because everything they've been talking about defunding some of these, government programs that really helped most of you, all this was on Project 2025. All these black people talked about it, but most of you chose not to listen. It's quite sad that racism has made most of you vote based on fear and not your own needs, not your own self-best interest. And you all know what happens when fear wins. You've actually seen what has been happening. You voted for this because of fear. Maybe black Americans are gonna treat us the way we've been treating them, or maybe black Americans are gonna benefit from this. So what happens, and what has been happening, and what is happening right now? Policies that actually help white families, like paid family leave, better health care, affordable child care, stronger labor laws, they don't get passed. Reason being, they'll benefit black Americans. And that's what you all voted for. Like, racism did not just divide communities, it made millions of you white Americans vote against your own survival. There is a lot that we can talk about when it comes to racism and how it has actually affected millions of white Americans. And, we can maybe continue this topic on another episode, but I would really want you all to tell me what you think about these on the comment section. And if you're actually a white American, I want you to tell me what of, benefits that you think you've lost because you've been voting against your own self-best interests because of fear and hatred and racism. Thank you so much for watching up to this part. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't. And until the next episode, bye.